Hello everyone, I hope you're all having a wonderful day. Today we're going to dive into the heartwarming story of Jack and Tu Tien, 15 days after her risky surgery, when she finally comes home, fully recovered, and the whole family gathers for a simple but emotional dinner that may change their future forever. Will their peaceful days really begin from this moment on? If you enjoy this video, don't forget to hit subscribe so you won't miss the next episodes. 15 days have passed since the doctors finally smiled and said she's fully recovered. 2 weeks ago, Tu Tien was lying under harsh hospital lights, surrounded by tubes and machines. Now she's standing in front of the house in a soft dress, hair tied back, cheeks full of color again. She leans on the motorbike, tapping her foot. "Jack, if you don't hurry, someone else will grab all the good chicken." From inside, Jack's voice echoes back, amused. All right. The niche of picking the best chicken belongs to me anyway." He steps out, closes the door, then pauses just to look at her. No pale face, no shaky steps, just Tu Tien, healthy and alive. "What?" she teases. "You forgot how to ride." "I was just thinking," he says. "You look too good for this old bike." "Nice line," she laughs. "You're still the one cooking today." He grins, swings onto the bike, and pats the seat behind him. "Hop on, madam. Today I'm your personal chef." They ride toward the village market with the wind brushing their faces, her arms wrapped gently around his waist. The closer they get, the louder the noise. Vendors calling out, clattering pans, kids shouting. The smell of herbs, grilled snacks, and charcoal smoke fills the air. Inside the market, they move like a team. Jack heads straight for the live chicken stall, already joking with the seller. Tu Tien slips over to the seafood section, where shrimp are still jumping in plastic tubs. "These are fresh," she says, reaching in. A shrimp flicks water at her, and she giggles. Jack lifts a plump chicken by the wings. "Tien, check this one. Looks like it's been hit in the gym." She comes over, squeezes the breast, checks the eyes, then nods. Firm meat, clear eyes, approved. The auntie at the stall laughs. "Your wife knows her chicken." Jack just smiles. Of course, she's the boss. They drift from stall to stall. She picks bananas for banana fish stew, bitter melon, and fresh herbs. He grabs pork belly, spices, and a green-skinned pomelo. They bargain lightly, half serious, half joking, arguing over a few thousand dong, just for fun. Suddenly Jack takes out a folded stack of money and presses it into her palm. "You hold the money today," he says. "I'm spoiling you. Buy whatever you want." She raises an eyebrow. "Careful, I might buy the whole market." "If that keeps you smiling like this, I'll carry it all home," he replies. Her voice softens. "Then buy me this," she says, fingers closing over his. "More days like today, no hospital, no fear." He nods. "Deal. From now on, no more making you cry." By the time they're done, the motorbike is loaded. On the way back, Tu Tien hugs him tighter than usual, cheek against his back. For the first time in a long time, the road ahead feels simple again. Back home, the yard turns lively. Jack crouches by the wood stove, stacking branches and coaxing the flames until they roar. He mixes honey, fish sauce, and garlic, rubbing it over the chicken. When he sets it over the coals, the skin sizzles, sending out a sweet, smoky smell. Nearby, Tu Tien sits on a low stool. She cleans the fish, slices bananas, and arranges everything into a clay pot with turmeric, lemongrass, and dill. Soon, the banana fish stew is gently bubbling. A tray of shrimp waits to be grilled with salt and chili. On another burner, caramelized pork simmers. Bitter melon is cut and ready for soup. Smells like Tet, she says. This is our own Tet, Jack replies, turning the chicken. The You Survived celebration. She smiles. Then we need guests. Did you invite Mum and Uncle Dung? Already did, he says. Mum said if Uncle Dung walks too slowly, she'll drag him. Not long after, Mother's voice rings from the gate. Jack! Tien! It smells like a feast out here. Jack wipes his hands and hurries over. Mother steps in with a basket of pomelos, hair more silver than before, but eyes bright. Behind her, Mr. Dung follows, calm and steady. You came right on time, Jack says, taking the basket. Mother reaches up to touch his face. You've lost weight, she complains, though she's clearly relieved. But you're home, that's enough. Tu Tien appears behind him. Mom, Uncle Dung, come in, everything's ready. Mr. Dung studies her and nods. Our patient looks strong now. Good. Inside, the low wooden table near the wood stove is covered with food. Honey grilled chicken, salt chili grilled shrimp, banana stewed fish, caramelized pork, and a steaming bowl of bitter melon soup. Plates of herbs and dipping sauces fill the gaps. They sit together, firelight warming their faces. Jack takes his chopsticks and places a large piece of chicken into Tu Tien's bowl. Eat more, he says. You're still too thin. You need to gain at least 3 kilos. Mother immediately drops 2 shrimp into Jack's bowl. You eat too, she scolds. Don't think I can't see you've lost weight. Laughter ripples around the table. Even Mr. Dung smiles. This boy, he sighs. He worried his mother until her hair turned white. Jack rubs the back of his neck. I know, Uncle. I'm sorry. Next time I'll tell everyone before I go anywhere. I won't disappear like that again. He doesn't mention danger or close calls. Right now, he only wants them to hold on to this. The 4 of them around a table, sharing hot food and easy smiles. They dig in, chopsticks tapping bowls, conversation overlapping. Mother talks about neighbors who kept coming by, asking for news from Jack. Mr. Dung shares village gossip, who's building a new house, whose buffalo got loose again. Tu Tien listens, smiling, eyes drifting from face to face. Now and then she glances at Jack, as if to check he's still really there. Every time he catches her look and grins back. By the time the dishes are nearly empty and everyone is full, night has fallen completely. Outside, crickets sing. Inside, the embers in the stove glow red. Mother starts stacking empty bowls while Jack brings out a pot of hot leaf tea. Tu Tien peels the green-skinned pomelo, arranging the pale pieces on a plate. They settle back around the fire, closer now, hands wrapped around warm cups. No one says it out loud, but they all feel it. After everything, just sitting here together like this is already a miracle. Jack leans against the wall, soaking in the heat from the wood stove and the quiet comfort of having his family right there with him. Mother cradles her cup of tea, Mr. Dung eats a slice of pomelo, and Tu Tien sits beside Jack, shoulder pressed to his arm. For a while they just drink tea, peel fruit, and listen to the crackle of the fire. No hospital noises, no beeping machines, only this. Jack sets his cup down. Mom, Uncle Tien, I've been thinking. Mother watches him closely. Thinking what? Don't tell me you're running off somewhere again. He smiles. No, Mum. This time I'm thinking about staying. He nods toward the small yard outside. I want to fix this place properly. I'll plant more green pomelo at the back, oranges along the side. We'll deepen the pond and release new fish. Later we can sit out there and grill what we catch. Tu Tien rests her head on his shoulder. And the strong gate you kept talking about? I'll build it, Jack says. A solid front gate, so every time you walk through, you know this is home and you're safe. Mother's eyes soften. You sound like a man now, she says quietly. Not a boy chasing work everywhere. Mr. Dung nods. Just remember, construction is cutthroat now. People cheat, use bad materials. Be careful who you trust. I know, Uncle, Jack replies. From now on, I won't make Mum or Tien worry like that again. I'll move slower but steady. Mother reaches over, stroking his hair the way she did when he was little. If you keep your health and a straight heart, that's enough for me, she whispers. Tu Tien smiles. Same for me. I don't need anything fancy. I just want you coming home safe, filling this house with noise. The fire pops softly. Their faces look calmer than they have in a long time. Soon, Mother glances at the clock. It's late. We should go. Jack gets up. I'll walk you out. They gather their things. Tu Tien wraps some leftover food and hands it to Mother. Take this home. Tomorrow you can just warm it and eat with rice. Mother pretends to complain. You two just settled down and already you're feeding me. Jack grins. New rule. Anyone who visits leaves with food. At the gate, under the dim yard light, Mother suddenly pulls Jack into a hug. Don't scare me like that again, she says, voice shaking just a little. He hugs her back. I won't. I promise. Mr. Dung pats Jack's shoulder. Take care of your little family. It's your turn now. I will, Uncle, Jack answers. They watch Mother and Mr. Dung walk down the lane until they fade into the dark. When Jack closes the gate and turns back, the house feels quiet but full. Inside, the stove still glows. Tu Tien is by the fire again, hugging her knees, staring into the flames. When Jack steps in, she looks up. Cold? He asks. A bit, she says. He sits beside her and wraps an arm around her. Come here. She leans into him. For a while they just sit there, listening to the fire and each other's breathing. I'm sorry, Jack says at last, for making you cry, for disappearing, for leaving you in that hospital not knowing what would happen. Tu Tien's eyes shine. When they wheeled you into surgery, I thought I'd lost you, she whispers. I started imagining life without you, and it felt like the world was collapsing. He kisses her hair. Look at me. She lifts her face. Firelight dances in her tears. I'm here, he says slowly. And I'm not going anywhere. From now on, I'll take care of you for the rest of my life. We'll grow old together. We'll have kids running all over this yard. And, if we're crazy enough, our own little football team, okay? She lets out a small laugh through her tears. A football team is 11 kids. You're insane. Then we'll be champions, he says, and keep a few as substitutes. She lightly hits his chest. I don't care about a team. I just want you alive and coming home. He nods. Deal. Safety first, football team later. They lean against each other again, saying nothing. The hardest part is behind them. Now it's just living. After a while, Tu Tien's head becomes heavy on his shoulder. Her eyes slowly close. Jack stays still, letting her drift off. Then his phone buzzes on the low table. He picks it up carefully. It's a reminder for an online company meeting. Projects, reports, people who covered for him. He looks at Tu Tien, sleeping by the fire, then back at the phone. I'll be right here, he murmurs. He gently lays her down on a mat near the stove, covers her with a blanket, and slides a pillow under her head. She doesn't wake. Jack moves to the corner where his laptop sits. The firelight flickers behind him as he opens it and joins the call. Familiar faces appear on the screen. "Boss, you're back!" "How's your health?" Jack smiles. "I'm okay," he says. "Thanks to all of you." They go through the projects. He listens, approves what needs approval, checks deadlines. "You all did great while I was away," he tells them. "You kept everything stable. I won't forget that." When the meeting ends, he closes the laptop. The room falls quiet again. By the stove, Tu Tien is still curled under the blanket, face relaxed. Jack can't help but smile. He walks over, slides an arm under her knees and another behind her back, and gently lifts her. She stirs. "Jack?" she whispers. "I'm here," he says softly. "Now everything's really peaceful. Let's sleep." He carries her into the bedroom and lays her down, tucking the blanket around her. Through the small window, the full moon spills silver light over the floor and across their joined hands. Jack lies beside her, pulling her close. She nestles into his chest without even fully waking. Outside, the world is still wild and uncertain, but in this little house, justice has been served, the family is together again, and the road ahead finally feels open. As the fire slowly fades and the moon climbs higher, Jack and Tu Tien drift towards sleep, wrapped around each other, quietly dreaming about a gentle future, children's laughter in the yard, fruit trees heavy with pomelos and oranges, and maybe one day a noisy, happy little football team calling them Mum and Dad. 15 days after Tu Tien's risky surgery, she is finally healthy and returns home with Jack to start over. The two go to the village market like newlyweds, joking and choosing fresh chicken, shrimp, and fruit for a special family dinner. Back home, Jack grills honey chicken while Tu Tien cooks banana fish stew, bitter melon soup, and caramelized pork. They invite Mother and Mr. Dung, and the four of them enjoy a cozy, emotional meal around the wood stove, laughing, sharing stories, and quietly healing old worries. Later that night, after the parents leave, Jack and Tu Tien sit by the fire, apologizing, forgiving, and dreaming about a peaceful future with children and even their own football team. The episode ends with them falling asleep together, safe, hopeful, and finally truly at peace.